So we're on the last part of this lecture, which is about big data implementation. And so uh, there really isn't a standard, but what most companies do is use this technique called CRISP. And so this is IBM was the originator of this, and so this is a way people do data mining. And so I have to understand my business, understand the data, prepare for it, model it, evaluate it to make sure it makes sense. And that's actually something you should do with anything that you do, is that's when you get to the end, take a step back for a second, ask, does this make sense? Uh, and what's my plan of action? And so this is the CRISP process. And so it goes from business understanding to data and everything else. And so you can see all the steps in this chart. What it does is details out what you have to do. These are different kinds of algorithms that people use. Some things are of interest, or like link prediction. What are people likely to link together and associate? Uh, Similarity matching. How can I find customers in other places because people act the same way? And so you can see how this would apply to marketing. And so in terms of uh, analytics, we look at behaviors, product clusters, brand clusters, life cycle, buying likelihood, and product recommendations. These are the things as marketers. This is the kind of data we're most interested in. And so attributes. Attributes are those variables that drive what's going on. And so they're not always clean, but we're interested in how informative it's going to be. And uh, once we can, now nothing is going to act the same every time, but the big thing is, can we derive probabilities to see how it works? One technique is A-B testing. And what A-B testing is, I have two choices. Which one is better, or is there a way I can optimize the two together? And so in this example, it's what if I want to use communication, email, mobile for students and teachers, and I want to see how they respond. And as we see, what it comes down to is that mobile has an 8% response compared to 5% for email. And so you would say, okay, let's just do communication by mobile. But if you look at each individual variable, the teachers are heavily biased more towards email and the students are mobile. So if you actually split it and do it both ways, then your response becomes 11% instead of 8%. And so you get almost 50% more performance simply by looking at that. In terms of learning, uh, you can run into a situation where you can get a lot of clicks but not a lot of purchases. And so that's why we have the funnel. And that's that we need to figure out, okay, I have a lot of clicks but not a lot of people are buying. And what it comes down to is that's trying to get, trying to either get to trial, trying to get people to actually try my product, or are they not even getting to that? Uh, an example is like Twitter. A lot of people sign up for Twitter. Twitter says, "Oh, we have 350 million people." Well, how many people are really active? The perception about Twitter is that it's just a communication tool for celebrities. Uh, the iWatch went straight up, and then, and so as you can see, these techniques can apply to marketing to figure out what's going on. Some of the models that exist, uh, I'll let you just read this because I think it's pretty uh, self-explanatory about objective functions or overfitting. And so here's an example of a mapping of how they evaluate models. And essentially what they're looking for is probabilities. What's the expected value? What's the cost benefit? The progression of data, first it was just about capability, improving efficiency. 2.0 is about interactions, and analytics just keeps getting bigger in its variety. One thing that's really interesting is that when you look at the progression of products, it actually follows Maslow, meaning that first it starts as most basic functions and then it goes to higher level orders in terms of socialization. And so In the last video, I'll talk about big data applications.